Namaste. I am Devat Maharaja and I would like to welcome you all to my YouTube channel called Brahma Gaje, a channel that is dedicated to philosophical discourse. Please do not forget to click on that like button and also that subscribe button. Happy holidays to you and Happy New Year as we conclude this 2023 year. And in this last episode, the episode 3 of the short series that I had started upon the concept of idyllic state, we will now conclude the series with this episode in attempting to answer this question that we raised in the first episode. Have we fallen from the idyllic state? Let's begin, shall we? In the first episode, we had defined what is the idyllic state, the state of ultimate, pleasant, blissful living, all as if it's the Garden of Eden, heaven, Satyug. Then in the second episode, we looked at the philosophies of two great philosophers of the West, Jean-Jacques Rousseau, and Thomas Hobbes. And here, with this episode, we will conclude and answer this question that have we fallen from the idyllic state? So let's look at briefly again, let's revisit Jean-Jacques Rousseau. As we learned in the previous episode, Jean-Jacques Rousseau believed that our societies have become so complex. They were egalitarian, no longer are we egalitarian, and therefore these complex societies have created this mess. And based on that, we can say that yes, we have fallen from the idyllic state because our societies have become too complex. And therefore we have lost the equality. And the notion of equality and establishing that notion of equality now has become almost impossible with our current complex structures. So, therefore, we can say that we have fallen. Looking at Thomas Hobbes believed that, human beings are ultimately, innately very selfish, very self-centered, very competitive creatures, and therefore they need to be governed. And without having a proper organization, proper king, a sovereign entity, we just fall into chaos. And thus we have fallen. Without that authority, without that government, without that king, we just cannot be pleasantly living in an idyllic state or in the idyllic state. First, again, deriving that concept, Hobbes believes that. And again, from biblical standpoints, and I had mentioned that that Adam and Eve were exiled from the Garden of Eden because they ate that fruit, forbidden fruit, from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And as soon as they ate that fruit, they were banished. That innocence, that state of bliss, that state of innocence was gone. And they fell from that wonderful, everlasting, ever-pleasant, blissful state. And we also know that Satyug, with the corruption, again, going back to Hobbes's idea that we are innately selfish, very self-centered, very competitive. So again, the Yuga had to corrupt, and therefore the Satyug, the great blissful age, ended. And look, we are in this last stage, the last Yuga, Kali Yuga. And at the end of this Yuga, there will be so much mess, there will be so much bloodshed, there will be so much evil that eventually the god Kalki will be born, and an avatar of Vishnu, and he will restore the order, he will revive us. Biblical mindset also tells us that there will be a savior, there will be a Messiah who will revive us. So we have fallen, we can say, from these ideas, that we have fallen so much that we need help. We need saviors. We need gods to come and rescue us and bring us back to that idyllic state, that state of bliss. We are doomed otherwise. So we can say that based on Thomas Hobbes, based on Jean-Jacques Rousseau, and overall our biblical and our religious beliefs as well, that yes, we have fallen. And that is the answer, because that's the answer we have been given. And we have been believing in that answer for generations. And hey, the truth, if one were to argue that, but where is the empirical evidence? One can say that, hey, look around you. We have destroyed the earth. Global warming, environment, so many endangered species because of human and the civilization that human, again, expanded into, going back to Jean-Jacques Rousseau, the complex societies. Going back to Hobbes, we just could not be properly managed. We fought so many wars despite having the kings and having the sovereign. Again, we just could not have that ultimate sovereign, proper government, proper order, proper control. Thus, again, we continue to stay in that chaos. We need one strong sovereign order overall, right? So we can say that, and that's the evidence. Look around you. We have fought so many wars. We have destroyed the environment. All that is all because of us. And therefore, yes, we can say that we have not been living in the idyllic state. Garden of Eden was blissful. Satyuga was pleasant. This is not. There is so much pestilence. There is so much violence. There are so many diseases. We are not happy. One can say that, and the evidence, one can argue, will support that as well, along with the beliefs that we have been following for generations and generations and generations, ages and ages and ages. We have been believing that. What's the fix? Well, if we go by, simple idea of Jean-Jacques Rousseau, having an egalitarian, simple society might solve the problem, because he believed that our societies are too complex, therefore we are not able to live in idyllic state. So maybe wind down, simplify everything, have a simple egalitarian societies, smaller societies, and therefore then strive to maintain that equality, because it will be easier to have or bring about the equality if our societies are not so complex. Maybe that is the answer. Thomas Hobbes, if we were to go based on his ideas, one can say that maybe the earth needs a better sovereign ruler, a government, maybe that united earth, perhaps. No more countries, no more differences. Maybe we can treat earth as one big country, have one big rule, and the rule then can commonly apply to all the living beings on the earth. And we weed out the differences, we weed out the negativity, and perhaps having that one order, one strong sovereign ruler might solve the problem, because he believed in having one government, one ruler, one entity to govern us all, and we need very strong order. And again, as we learned in the last episode, people would willingly give up their freedom to have this order be maintained. So perhaps that is the answer to fix that problem. So again, we have fallen from the idyllic state. Maybe we can fix it either way. But is that it? We have been believing it. One can say that for generations we have been believing that, yes, we were in a heavenly state. There is this heaven, we always constantly, and in spite of many belief systems that exist, there is this one common theme among all of them that, heaven is great. This state is not that blissful. This state is not great. We need to be in a better state, in a heavenly-like state, in a satyug-like state, in nirvana, in moksha-like state, where we are constant, stable, and no more mess, no more negativity. It's only positivity that could be cultivated, and that's what we strive towards. We always believe that we can do better. There will be some Messiah, there will be some God that will save us. We will eventually go there, or we do this and do that, and we follow this or that, and then we can be in heaven-like state. We can be in that idyllic state. That's what we have been believing. So can we not say that maybe this is just a belief? Yes, we can say that empirically that humans have destroyed the planet, but not really. I mean, we have learned that we have destroyed the planets. There have been endangered species, but we have also attempted to rescue, to revive. Look, ozone layer was depleted really badly, and if we had continued our ways, maybe there would have been much bigger depletion. But look, we have tried to heal the earth, and the newer evidence, the scientific data, actually points that ozone layer is coming back to normal. We are doing our best to help the earth that we have destroyed. So we can also say that yes, but we are doing much better now. We have realized that our way of living previously was too much detrimental to earth and overall, and we are doing much better. Yes, we fought many wars. We fought World War II, but it has been a time now. There has not been any world wars since World War II. God forbid, there may not be any more. Maybe we have realized that having this atomic energy, the weapon of mass destruction, can eventually destroy all of us. So maybe therefore we don't need to, and we are slowly realizing. So one can optimistically say that we are slowly realizing. We are still slowly bringing the change so that we can be in the idyllic state. Or maybe can we say that maybe we are in the idyllic state already. A poetry by Mirza Ghalib, a renowned 19th century Indian poet, comes into the mind, and two lines of the शेर is that हमको मालूम है जन्नत की हकीकत, लेकिन हमको मालूम है जन्नत की हकीकत, लेकिन दिल के खुश रखने को गालिब ये ख्याल अच्छा है. हमको मालूम है जन्नत की हकीकत, लेकिन दिल के खुश रखने को गालिब ये ख्याल अच्छा है. So Mirza Ghalib here in these two lines says quite a bit. He says, I know the true nature of heaven. Jannat ki hakikat, the fact of heaven, I know. Perhaps just to please our minds, just to keep us hopeful and ever hopeful, to keep us happy. This thought, after all, is not so bad. दिल के खुश रखने को गालिब ये ख्याल अच्छा है. Maybe it's not a bad idea, this idea of heaven. But I know, in reality, Ghalib says that Jannati ki hakikat, lekin I know the fact behind Jannat. So, what he is saying here is that perhaps the idea of idyllic state, the heaven, the satyug, the swarg, the heavenly like state is an idea. Why? So that we can be happy, that we can, if we remain ever hopeful that there will be better times, there will be better times, there will be better times, perhaps our present times we can somehow survive. That this idea will keep us moving. But after all, it is just an idea. In simpler terms, we can say that no, we have not fallen from the idyllic state. Maybe we need to redefine what is idyllic state. That pure, ultimate, blissful, heavenly-like state. Maybe that idea, yes, it sounds great like Ghalib said here, but it is just an idea. Maybe, perhaps, we can say that we are already in the idyllic state. Look, all the progress that we have made as human beings, and we continue to make progress, and maybe that is the idyllic state. The idyllic state being the dualistic, and realizing that it is the dualistic, the pleasant and unpleasant, the two sides of the coin, the darkness and lightness, and the coexistence of both, and realizing in our lives daily that there will be pain, there will be suffering, but there will also be happiness, and there will be bliss, and that is how the reality is, and that is the idyllic state. Ultimately, therefore, pleasant, because once you realize that there is the pleasant and unpleasant, the dualistic nature, you can then lift yourself conceptually from that dualistic state. Therefore, then, you will be, or you are already perhaps, in the idyllic state, having realized that there will be pain and suffering, there will be death, there will be pestilence, but at the same time, there will be medicine, there will be life, there will be joy, there will be progress, technology, etc. to compensate, to balance. And then you can, and you have already progressed. So you're already in the idyllic state, and the idyllic state is the state of this dualistic existence and its realization. Therefore, then, the definition that we had given in the episode 1, that idyllic state is the ultimate, the pleasant, the blissful state. Well, that is the pleasant, the blissful state that you might already be in, having realized that there will always be this dualistic nature to the existence. And therefore, once you realize it, you are able to lift yourself from that dualistic existence. Thus, you can be in the idyllic state, or you're already in the idyllic state, having realized that. So no, maybe we have not fallen, we have progressed, and we have realized, or we can realize. So you might have fallen, but then you can revive yourself. And the concept becomes the Messiah, the God itself, connecting with your religious beliefs, because they are not wrong. We have been, again, believing that from generations and generations and generations. So, cultivating that realization, and then realizing, believing that, going back to Ghalib, दिल के खुश रखने को Ghalib, ये ख्याल अच्छा है. The idea of idyllic state is a thought that human beings have comprehended. As we learned in the first episode, that the good and evil is a human concept. So is the concept of idyllic state. You might, or you are already in the idyllic state if you realize that there will always be this dualistic nature, and all you have to do is live with that dualistic nature, that dualistic world, and then realize that, after all, yes, the coin has two sides, but it is still one coin. Therefore, then you can always be in the blissful state, treating dukh, pain, suffering, and treating bliss or joy or pleasure as equal. And thus lifting yourself above that. Enjoying the world that you are in, not always hope that there will be something better. You might already be in the better state and continue to make the progress, but realize that you, the one, can make that change. And once you make that progress, enjoy those moments as well at the same time. Because there will be pain also with it. There will be suffering with it too. And when you do encounter that, take that also blissfully. So again, treat joy and pain both equal, and thus you can are in that idyllic state. So ultimately, we can answer that we have not fallen from the idyllic state. We fall and we bring ourselves up together, then we fall and then we bring ourselves again up. That is the life. So idyllic state, when you fall and you rise, when you fall and you rise, you realize that rise and fall, the dualistic nature of your existence, and realize that that is the idyllic state. And therefore, you can always be in this ultimate, constant, stable state, even though you will continue to fall and rise, fall and rise, fall and rise. In that mindset, you will always remain idyllic. That is all I have for you for this year. Happy New Year. Namaste.